Hey everybody, Spike here. This is Open Dragon Mouth number 8. We have a bit of a somber week, August 15th. A few days ago, we lost one of our best comedians, voice actors, Robin Williams. He was found in his home from an apparent suicide. They found a belt around his neck. He was suffering from severe depression, and just yesterday, his wife said that he was suffering from early stages of Parkinson's disease. Now, I first heard this news, I was shocked. He's one of the first celebrities I knew growing up. I first saw, heard his voice in Disney's Aladdin, when he played the genie, and anyway, I loved his acting. Of course, one of his early successes was Good Morning Vietnam, which was in 1987, and he got the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a motion picture, a musical or comedy. Let's see, what else did he do? Oh, now I know I'm bringing out my Disney geekness, but remember the Timekeeper for any that went to Orlando, Florida? There was an attraction that was called the Timekeeper, which is a 360 film, and he would play the voice of this robot that created a time machine, and it's like going through time. I think there's a few YouTube videos that show the attraction. It's not there anymore. It's been gone for years. But it's definitely a good one. Of course, I've seen some art on FA of Batty from Ferngully. Yeah, it's one that movie that I've seen. I don't quite remember everything about it, but except I know that there's like fairies. There's this villain played by Tim Curry. What other ones did he play? Jumanji. He played Hamlet. Flubber. I know. Not that good of a movie, but I enjoyed it as a child. It's really young. Yeah, of course there are some where he wasn't in very good movies like Patch Adams. But at least Patch Adams had one little bit of truth in it. Sorry. Sorry, too early. Bicentennial Man, a bit of a boring film, not that memorable. But he also did Robots, Night at the Museum, Happy Feet. Right now, as far as I know, there's like 3 or 4 films that have not been released yet that he's done. Some of the ones include Merry Friggin' Christmas, Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, and Absolutely Anything, which, to my knowledge, was his very last film, where he does the voice of Dennis the dog. I don't know anything about this movie, but I think we're going to be keeping an eye on these movies. Moving on. Another film I should talk about. Watership Down. If any of you know about this, that's based on the novel. Well, earlier this month, Criterion released Watership Down to iTunes. There's currently no announcement of a release for Blu-ray or DVD, and right now it's that the site doesn't list it as part of the collection, even as it says it's coming soon. But if this does make it to the Criterion collection, it'll only be the third animated feature to make it into the collection. The other two are Fantastic Mr. Fox and Aquila, which is right now no longer available. If you hadn't seen, I actually recommend looking at this film. Yeah, it's worth it. Even the language that the rabbits speak in this, some have been known to be repurposed by us furs. So, what else? You know how I always go on about the Ursa Major Awards? Well, now it's the Coyotl Awards. This is an annual award ceremony by the Furry Writers Guild. This was started in 2012 to recognize excellence in anthropomorphic literature and promote quality writing within the furry fandom. Right now, they have opened voting by all members of the guild in good standing. The voting is going to last until August 31st, and the winners will be announced at Rainforest. There is a list of nominees, for short story, which is for works that are less than 10,000 words. We have The Claw in Her Heart and Hillhound, both by Renee Carter Hall. We got Fox in the Hen House by Mary E. Lode, and Son of Blood Moon by Bill Rogers. Let's see. They also have ones for anthologies, like Heat number 10, Hot Dish number 1, What Happens Next, Mouse Guard, the Legends of the Guard number 2, and Trick or Treat number 1. Like I said, these will be announced at Rainforest this year, and these are awards for 2013. Now, there's something I need to speak with you guys about. I always try to avoid any kind of drama. I have been done with that for quite a while. But this has been everyone's been bringing this to my attention quite a lot recently, and I need to address this. There's some kind of page on Facebook. I will not give the name. I will not talk about this particular group. Apparently, they made a Facebook page spreading all kinds of false stuff, like how Yif is a satanic ritual and stuff. Let me tell you guys something. This group isn't real. I have taken a look at the page. I've even done a simple Google search. I have seen absolutely nothing about this group aside from the Facebook page. And it's not just furries that this page is talking about. They've done stuff on Japanese anime, on how it's gonna turn your children fat. And there's a bunch of ridiculous statements in there saying that they're going to try banning furry from the... It's a lot of ridiculous stuff. So please, everybody, stop talking about this. I mean, I have dealt with trolls before, and this is quite... This is either some of the stupidest people I have ever seen, or trolls, and I'm going with the latter on this one. So please, everybody, stop bringing it to my attention. Stop talking about it. One more thing I need to talk about. I did go and see Guardians of the Galaxy, and it is friggin' awesome! I have to say, I don't usually see movies that are based on comics, but this is one of the best ones of the year. I highly recommend this one. I'll talk about it really briefly in just a moment, just in case anybody still hasn't gone out this scene. I won't. I don't want to spoil it tonight. I'll wait for the end of that. But this movie has brought in $176.5 million so far, and with Disney owning Marvel, this is excellent work. This is a great follow-up from Avengers. Though I did see in the trailers, they do have some more movies coming out, which I think are going to flop. I seen in the trailers they're going to do Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I looked at trailers. I think it's going to suck. Because it butchered the story. It's going to be based around the whole family and not Alexander. Yeah, overall, I think this was great storytelling. I like a lot of the characters. I like the main antagonist. It's got some good humor in there. So, right now, critics give it a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. 96% of the audience likes this. And I am definitely on their side with this one. Like I said, I don't usually look at movies based on comic books. But I love this movie. Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want any spoilers, I suggest you end the video now. Because I just want to talk briefly about this. Movie opens up with this child seeing his dying mother. We later know him as Peter Quill. And as she's down on the bed, she gives him this present, which we don't know what it is until the end of the film. So, not standing it, he goes outside and gets abducted by a spaceship. And then we see him years later, all grown up. And throughout the movie, you'll see Quill playing his 80s mixtape, which is a gift from his mother. So throughout the movie, you'll hear a lot of 80s tracks. So he's going after this object, which is simply called the orb, because someone is wanting to sell it. And we find out later that it contains something called an infinity stone, which people have tried to harness it but end up killing them. But if it ends up in the wrong hands, it can end up destroying an entire planet. He was supposed to give it to his fellow. I don't know what they call them. They try to think of him like the future Indiana Jones. He was supposed to give it to his partners, but he blows them off, and he ends up getting a bounty on him. And our antagonist sends one of his minions, which we know as Gamora, which she ends up betraying them. And of course we have Rocket Raccoon. I really love him. The technologically inclined, trigger-happy raccoon, and his partner Groot, which is a plant-based organism, which he has a very limited vocabulary. All he can say is, "I am Groot." That's the only thing he can say throughout the whole movie. So we get into this fight scene, a three-way fight, because Rocket and Groot are bounty hunters, and so they're trying to catch Quill, but they all end up getting arrested and thrown in jail. But Rocket was thrown in prison before, and he knows how to escape. So we get this awesome escape scene. And by the way, this is where they get their fifth character called Drax the Destroyer. His quirk, he's looking to get revenge on the main antagonist, which his name is Ronan. And he also has trouble understanding metaphors. So they manage to escape, and they find out that the orb is worth Um, I think it was like over 4 billion credits. I think it is. So they had to take it to forgot what the place was. But they had to go see the collector, and they're going to end up making a deal on it. But Drax, in his anger, decides to call down on Ronan to try to fight him himself, and it ends up them losing the orb. And so they had to go and get the orb back before, because if they let Ronan land, I mean he took the power of the Infinity Stone into his large hammer. Then it's going to destroy the entire planet. And they had a truce at the time, but he was against it. So they make this plan to try to stop him. I mean, ultimately they get it back, but in the end, Groot actually dies because as the ship is crashing, he grows his roots and protects the team in this wooden ball. And this really upsets Rocket. And you can see at the end of the film, he's carrying this flower pot with one of Groot's sticks, which I thought was actually funny. But Groot ends up showing a kitty version of himself. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, please do. It is really awesome. So that is going to be it for me. This Dragon's Mouth is now closing.